the idea, I mean, that story has been told many times, but the idea has been created almost 5 years now ago. Me sitting on my balcony in my apartment in Vancouver, BC, with a couple of friends, having a couple of drinks, and I can see actually the cruise ship here from my apartment, from the balcony. And well, obviously I had one drink too many, or maybe even more. And I came up with this idea: hey, why don't we try to charter one of these ships and put a heavy metal festival? So this was basically how the idea started.
Now, I know there's been some other smaller type cruises, but nothing on the scale which you did. And last year in 2010 was your very first one. How difficult was it putting it together? From the idea that you came up with to actually implementing it.
Well, it's like every big good idea. It takes a lot of time and a lot of planning. One of the big things we had together, of course, for something like this was the financing, and that probably took a long time because it's not just like any other event. Like if you want to charter a cruise ship overall, if you want to charter the entire one, you gotta come up with a lot of money in advance. It's money that you just don't just have. So you got to find people that are enthusiastic about this and that are crazy enough to actually invest into something like this that has no track record, that nobody has done that before. As you mentioned rightly, there has been other cruises. I mean, the music cruise idea in itself is nothing really new. Like for other stuff like blues or jazz that has been around for decades. And there is smaller type of heavy metal cruises on ferries and stuff in Scandinavia. That's right. But, well, nobody did to that extent on a cruise ship like we did this now.
And Andy, before the cruise, putting it together, had you ever organized a show or a festival before in a regular venue or outdoor amphitheater?
Yes, I mean that's actually where my background is coming from. I started out as a local promoter in Europe back in the day, and then moved more into touring and was working as a tour and production manager for over a decade. So I have, almost my entire working life spent in the live music industry. So I kind of knew that part. The cruise part was new to me too. So I had to learn something there too. It's not just like renting a venue or getting some farmland and build a stage. A little bit different.
I was going to say, when you approached the cruise line and told them your idea, were they receptive at first, or were they like, we don't want those kind of people on this boat?
Well, look, they want to do business, like anybody wants to do business, of course. So it was not a straight out no. But, of course, they were wary, and I also understand that probably in North America, more than in Europe, there is still a little stigma attached to heavy metal, for some people at least. They see this as something, like those people, they're going to smash the whole ship or whatever, So I kind of had to educate them to a certain degree, get them some press material, some videos and so on from big European metal festivals and see, look, this is kind of the crowd that we were getting. They probably drink a lot, but in their heart they're very friendly, and there's nothing that we should worry about, and that's exactly how it turned out too. But it was certainly a concern at the beginning from the cruise lines, and I talked to many of them before choosing the one ship where we're sailing now on.
And we're speaking with Andy Pillar, the festival organizer of the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise. What was the very first band, Andy, that you approached to play the 2010 cruise? Or actually 2011, right?
It was 2011. This is kind of a running gag because everybody makes the same mistake. It's the beginning of the year. We all talk about last year. Actually, it was this year. We do the same thing here in the office. So there was not a first band. As I said, I've worked in this industry for a long time, so I have some relationships to artist managers and agents and so. And like when the idea more materialized, I spoke with them, and we started to assemble bands that probably would work, would fit, would be willing to do something like this too.
Man, I just think the idea is fantastic, and a few of my listeners went on the cruise, and we had them live on the air shortly after they returned, and they were just raving about it. I've not heard one negative comment about the 2011 cruise, so people are really excited this year. Now, last year sold out. Are tickets still available for the one coming up in 2012 at the end of January?
We're getting very much to the end. There is a very few tickets available still, but it may not last until a few days before selling like we did last year. So for those ones that are still undecided, they may rather move fast.
And this is not like a conventional sort of festival. I spoke with John Gallagher from Raven, and I know they played the 2011 cruise, and he said that they were playing a set, I think, like at 4 a.m.
Well, it is very, very extensive hours. You also have to see we have actually an audience that comes from all over the world. So probably half of the passengers, when they get on the ship, they still actually live in a different time zone.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Have a jet lag. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It goes like until about 4 o'clock in the morning. At least the live entertainment. We still have stuff that is basically open end, like our infamous karaoke. And then we start early in the morning again. So it's not live entertainment around the clock, but there is something to do all around the clock. We have, at least while we're at sea, there is bars that stay open around the clock.
I heard some pretty wild stories that took place during some of those karaoke sessions.
That's why I said infamous.
Yeah, I know. That's great. Tell us about some of the bands you have lined up for this year, for 2012s.
Well, as you mentioned before, we just announced Venom today. We got a lot of Scandinavian bands this time. Like last time too, but probably really a lot of Finnish bands like Nightwish and Children of Bodom. Swedes like Hammerfall. We got Americans like Cannibal Corpse and Overkill, and there is still a few in the pipeline, as all of you know, and there may be even some surprises for some. Like maybe what came today was a